Was it a coincidence that more than 200 blaxploitation movies would be released in the 1970s? Was it a coincidence that more than 200 blaxploitation movies were released during the decade of the 1970s? They used television to get us off the streets from organizing for liberation. I'm going to say it again. They used television to get us off the streets from organizing. They used television to get us off the streets from organizing. And they used the blaxploitation movies. They used the blaxploitation movies to get us out of black consciousness and into being pimps and hoes. Let's continue, brothers and sisters. And guess what? White folks love the blaxploitation movies. White folks love the blaxploitation movies. White folks love the blaxploitation movies. June 18th, 1971. June 18th, 1971, President Richard Nixon declares a war on drugs. Remember the date, family. Remember the date, family. Remember the date, family. June 18th, 1971. Richard Nixon declares war on drugs, calling it public enemy number one. Remember the date, family. June 18th, 1971, Richard the Republican renegade retard reject Nixon declares war on drugs, calling it public enemy number one, introducing no-knock warrants. The no-knock warrant came from Richard Nixon. The no-knock warrant came from Richard Nixon. And the media would paint the drug addict as a black American. It would change the narrative away from political repression due to black Americans' fight for justice to repression based on drug use for the public, based on drug use and drug sale. Listen to what I'm telling you. They used black movies to paint you, to change your image from a freedom fighter to a pimp and a whore. I'm going to say it again. They used the blaxploitation movies of the 1970s to recast black people away from civil rights activists, away from freedom fighters, to pimps and whores. And that Richard Nixon used the imagery of the blaxploitation movie. Richard Nixon used the imagery of the blaxploitation movie. Richard Nixon used the imagery of the blaxploitation movie to justify his war on drugs. Ouch. June 28th, 1971, Supreme Court reverses Muhammad Ali's decision. The Supreme Court reverses Muhammad Ali's conviction. He's now free to fight again. That's June 28th, 1971. August 21st, 1971, the 140th anniversary of the Nat Turner War and the 180th anniversary of the Haitian Revolution. 29-year-old George Jackson, August the 21st, 1971. George Jackson, August the 21st, my day, Nat Turner Day, Haitian Revolution Day, George Jackson Day, Black Jesus Day on August the 21st, 1971. The 140th anniversary of Nat Turner, the 180th anniversary of the Haitian Revolution. George Jackson, co-founder of the Black Guerrilla family, brothers and sisters, is killed in prison during a liberation war at San Quentin. It remains a mystery as to how the gun being used made it into prison. Some believe George Jackson's assassination was a setup, but what we all know is that the co-founder of the Black guerrilla family, Soledad brother George Jackson, fought for the liberation of African people. August 21st, 1971. September the 9th, 1971, Attica prison riot in New York. Never forget the Attica prison riots. Never forget the Attica prison riots. Never forget the Attica prison riots. 1,200 prisoners out of 2,200 prisoners at Attica State Correctional Institute took control of the prison, taking 42 staff hostages. 29 prisoners would be killed by the police. 10 correctional officers would also be killed when Governor Nelson Rockefeller ordered state troopers to take the prison by force. They killed 29 prisoners, 10 correctional officers, and on Monday, September the 13th, 1971, at 9:46 in the morning, state troopers tear gassed the prison yard of Attica. Opened fire nonstop for 2 minutes, shooting into the smoke. Many non-resistors were shot and killed. Families received $8 million in lawsuit money in the year 2000. Rockefeller could have prevented the riot. All our brothers in Attica asked for was a meeting with the governor or the lieutenant governor. All the brothers at Attica wanted was a meeting with Governor Rockefeller. October 1971, Walt Disney World, Main Street, opens in Orlando. It would cost $400 million, bringing in 2.5 million visitors every year. Now we getting Disneyland. See? First they hit you with the blaxploitation. They gave you the Cosby Show. Now they're giving you Disneyland. I want you to see how they use distractions to keep us dumb, deaf, and blind. I want you to see how they use distractions to keep us dumb, deaf, and blind. I want you to see how they use distractions to keep us dumb, deaf, and blind, brothers and sisters. And right now, what's going on in Rikers Island? I hope Rikers Island ain't about to become another Attica. I hope Rikers Island in New York ain't about to become another Attica. I hope Rikers Island in New York is not about to become another Attica, because I'm hearing on the streets that the brothers in Rikers are getting sick and tired of the oppression, denial of privilege, the COVID restrictions. I fear that Rikers will become another Attica rebellion. Another Attica rebellion, brothers and sisters. I stand in solidarity with my brothers and sisters in Rikers. I stand in solidarity with the African family in Rikers Island, brothers and sisters. Berry Gordy didn't want to release the protest song by Marvin Gaye, What's Going On? 1971, Marvin Gaye releases What's Going On via Motown. Berry Gordy did not want to release the song because it was a protest song. He thought it would affect Marvin Gaye's career and affect Motown record sales, but it went on. It was the first album Marvin Gaye produced as a producer. Rolling Stone ranked it the #6 best album of all time. The same album that Berry Gordy did not want to release. The same year as the Attica riots, Marvin Gaye, What's Going On, was released same year as the Attica riots. Berry Gordy didn't want to release it, but Marvin Gaye told Berry Gordy, if you don't release my song, I will never record another album for Motown. Marvin Gaye told Berry Gordy, if you don't release my song, I will never make another album for Motown. Rolling Stone calls Marvin Gaye's What's Going On the sixth best album of all time. The songs included about drug abuse, poverty, Vietnam War, and they were told from the perspective of a Vietnam veteran. It went on to become double platinum in the first year alone. It became Marvin Gaye and Motown Records' best-selling album to date until Marvin released Let's Get It On. Let's Get It On in 1973. On April the 1st, 1984, Marvin Gaye was shot. On April the 1st, 1984, Marvin Gaye was shot in the heart by his father after intervening in a fight between his mother and father. It was one day before his 45th birthday. Marvin Gaye was shot and killed one day before his 45th birthday. He was the most conscious black artist in Motown history. Marvin Gaye was the most conscious black artist in Motown history. Also in 1971, Idi Amin of Uganda will overthrow Pan-Africanist president of Uganda, Milton Obote, and he would rule until he was overthrown himself in 1986. In 1971, the Controlled Substances Act was signed into law, creating 5 categories of drugs and strengthening prosecution and sentencing for drug possession. DEA 1973. Controlled Substances Act. Strengthen prosecution and sentencing for drug possession. So they're getting ready for the CIA to drop off the crack. They're getting ready for the CIA to drop off the crack in the 1980s. They're getting ready for the CIA to drop off the crack in the 1980s. 1971 was a big year, brothers and sisters. 1971, the gay-focused panel at the American Psychological Association Convention. The gay-focused panel at the 1971 American Psychological Association Convention. The gay-focused panel at the 1971 APA Convention in D.C. demanded the removal of homosexuality from the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, 2nd edition. They demanded that homosexuality no longer be considered a mental illness. Also in 1971, the Congressional Black Caucus was established. In 1971, the Congressional Black Caucus was established. In 1971, the Congressional Black Caucus. Can somebody tell me what purpose does the Congressional Black Caucus serve? Let's see. 81, 91, 01, 11, and 21. The Congressional Black Caucus celebrated 50 years this year. The Congressional Black Caucus celebrated 50 years this year. Can somebody please tell me, after 50 years, can somebody please tell me, after 50 years, what has the Congressional Black Caucus done for Black America? I'm just asking a question. I'm just asking a question. I'm just asking a question. They were founded in 1971. It is now 2021. That is 50 years. Can somebody tell me what purpose has the Congressional Black Caucus served Black people? March the 8th, 1971, Muhammad Ali would fight Joe Frazier. Fight of the century. Muhammad Ali loses to Philadelphia Joe Frazier. Muhammad Ali loses to Philadelphia's own Joe Frazier. The city of Philadelphia would give Rocky Balboa a statue, a fictitious character. Rocky Balboa gets a statue, but Joe Frazier, the real heavyweight champion of Philadelphia, never got a statue. Rocky Balboa, a fake character from a movie, gets a statue, but the real heavyweight boxing champion of Philadelphia, Joe Frazier, never gets a statue. 1971, New York Times exposes a leaked Pentagon paper showing that the United States secretly increased its involvement in the Vietnam War. Gay rights group formed by 1971, you have gay rights groups in most major cities. Dr. King is murdered in 68. 3 years later, there's a gay rights movement in every major city. Dr. King is murdered in 1968. By 1971, there's a gay rights movement in every major city. Are y'all connecting the dots? Are y'all connecting the dots? Who hijacked the Black Civil Rights Movement? Are y'all connecting the dots? Who hijacked the Black Civil Rights Movement? 1971, here we go. More tokens. More tokens. Samuel Gravely Jr. becomes the first black admiral in the United States Navy. More tokenism. More tokenism. More tokenism. 1971, Samuel Gravely Jr. becomes the first black admiral in the U.S. Navy. 1971 was a big year. Eldridge Cleaver was expelled from the Black Panther Party. Eldridge Cleaver, who many say helped get little Bobby Hutton assassinated, Eldridge Cleaver is expelled from the Black Panther Party. Also in 1971, more distractions. More distractions. More distractions. In 1971, Richard Pryor, Live and Smokin' is released. It is a stand-up comedy concert film produced in New York City. It would earn Richard Pryor a Grammy for Best Comedy Album. Richard Pryor would win the Grammy Award 5 times, 3 in a row. In 1974, Richard Pryor would win 2 American Academy of Honor Awards and the Writers Guild of America Award, and he would be listed as Comedy Central #1 greatest comedian of all time, Richard Pryor. Rolling Stone also lists Richard Pryor as the greatest comedian of all time. He wrote for Sanford & Son, The Flip Wilson Show, and Richard Pryor appeared in several iconic blaxploitation movies such as The Mac, Uptown Saturday Night, Car Wash, Lady Sings the Blues, and the first ever Muppet movie. He died of a heart attack December the 10th, 2005, at 65 years old. Rest in peace to Richard Pryor.